What's up, coaches and tricks? I wanted to talk about something that plagues us all, and that is not feeling sleazy or salesy when we sort of pitch our programs. And the problem is you got into coaching because you love it. You love training people. You love correcting people's bad habits and then watching them hit PRs that they never thought they would ever hit. That's the stuff that gets you up early in the morning before the rest of the world. Unfortunately, just loving what you do doesn't translate into a six-figure coaching business. At some point, you're going to have to sell. And most coaches, myself included, hate this part. You hate the idea of being pushy, sleazy, or salesy. You didn't get into all of this to become a salesman. So you're kind of stuck, right? You're amazing at coaching, but the thought of actually selling your services makes your skin crawl. Here's a little plot twist for you. You don't have to be good at selling. Your expertise and your experiences will do it for you by way of your podcast. If you build a podcast that lets people really know you, like your philosophy, and trust your results, they don't even need a sales pitch. They'll reach out asking if you have any openings. The sale is already made before you ever mention any type of coaching program. Your podcast becomes the know, like, and trust engine that does all the heavy lifting for you. And if I'm being honest, I'm pretty sure that engine is on gear because it's pulling 900. It's walking around year round at 5% body fat. I just can't prove it because I don't have the drug tests and all that, but I don't want to get into allegations because then we got fitness drama and I don't want to deal with that stuff. But anyway, back to what we're talking about. Every day, like the everyday person, like they know you from you, not your credentials, right? So like thinking about like, I don't know, does your mom introduce you as like, oh, this is so-and-so, my NASM certified son, right? Like they don't do that. They know you from your real life. And this is the part that separates coaches who build thriving businesses from coaches who struggle to fill their roster slots. When you show up on a podcast week after week and share the real stuff, the struggles that shaped how you coach, excuse me, the obstacles you've overcome, and the failures that taught you more than the wins ever did, that's when people actually connect with you. Because think about it like this. If you just talked about your certifications and your system, you just become another cut and paste program on the internet. But if you talk about the back pain that plagued you for 20 years, or you're the person that's not afraid to ask really dumb questions during a podcast, or you share what it was like when your phone rang one morning and your dad told you that your mom had died, that's when you become real. That's when you become human. Now, I'm sharing how I became a real boy through podcasting, right? But you can do the same with your wins and your setbacks. These vulnerabilities aren't weaknesses. They're proof points that you're not some untouchable fitness influencer living in a perfect world. You're someone who's been in the trenches. You've faced real problems. You've struggled and you've figured it out. So when someone listens to you talk about these obstacles, they're essentially spending, real life time with you. They're getting to know you, right? They're getting to understand that you're not picture perfect, right? You're not the polished version that most people showcase on Instagram 24/7. You became a real person. So here's what I've seen happen over and over and over. I've built Pursue Podcasting largely through people who became clients after hearing me on podcasts. Over 1,000 episodes created a foundation for a six-figure client relationship. But that only happened because people felt like they already knew me before we ever even talked about me, like taking them on as a client. They knew what frustrated me. They understood what I cared about. They had spent hours and hours of listening to me think out loud on a podcast about life, training, business, and all those setbacks that I had mentioned a little while ago. But they also knew that I could, handle things, and they trusted my process without me having to explain that process. The fitness industry rewards perfection. It rewards that highlight reel. It rewards the person who looks the best and has the most followers. But podcasting seriously rewards something different: authenticity. And authenticity rewards your business. When you're willing to be imperfect in public, when you're willing to share the real journey, people connect with that. They want to work with somebody who actually has been where they currently are. So your job in building the no factor is extremely simple. Share your story. Share the vulnerabilities. Share the moments that shaped your philosophy as a coach. Excuse me. Don't worry about sounding perfect or polished. Worry about sounding real. Now, knowing you isn't enough, though. The next step is getting people to actually like what you're saying. And here's where most coaches get this part wrong. They think like means sounding impressive. They try to sound good for other coaches, not for their ideal client, right? That's such a huge mistake. It's the equivalent of comedians on stage telling high-level jokes for people in the green room, right? For other comedians. They want to make other comedians laugh, but all that stuff goes way over the head of the audience, right? So you want to tell jokes for the audience, not for the other comedians. You want to create podcasts for your clients, not other coaches, right? So anyways, sounding impressive, that's not it. That's not how you get people to like you. Like means you're giving people actionable tips that actually work. It means every time they listen to your podcast, excuse me again, they walk away with something they can use because you're talking to them. This is where you shift from just sharing your story to actually teaching your method. You talk about how you implemented something on your own training, for yourself or for your life. You explain the thinking behind it. Then you show how to take your clients through it, or you explain how you took your clients through it. When someone hears that you're getting results for yourself and then hears how you're implementing it for your clients, they move from interested to invested. They start to get a little curious about what life would be like if you were, or if they were one of your clients. The like factor is built through consistent, actionable advice. Not hype, not shortcuts, not this one weird trick will do XYZ, or the one tip that trainers don't want you to know. I miss those articles because they were always so funny. But it comes from the real, honest advice, not the one tricks. But you also need to be honest about what worked and what didn't. Talk about the methods you tried that flopped. Like, dude, I tried the sugar diet and failed miserably. I got talked into it. I'm sorry. It was too compelling. I couldn't help it. I tried it for like 2 weeks and I felt horrible the whole time. It was fun for like the first day. And then after that, my teeth hurt and I haven't recovered. So anyway, but you want to talk about this kind of stuff. Talk about the nuance and the reality, not just the wins, right? Like you got to share it all. Every single podcast episode should answer this question: how can my listener actually use this information? If you can't answer that question, the episode isn't doing the work it needs to do. You're not building that like. You're just, unfortunately, kind of just filling time. When you consistently show up and deliver actionable advice that people implement immediately, they start to like you and they start to trust your judgment. They start to think, well, shoot, this person actually knows what they're talking about. And if they're willing to share it openly, that's kind of damn awesome of them. This is the foundation for everything that comes next, because trust is the final piece. And that is earned when people see you delivering results, not just for yourself, but for the people you work with. This is where the know, like, and trust framework actually converts into paying clients. So how do we build that trust exactly? You share your client wins naturally within your content, not as a sales pitch. You talk about what you're actually seeing happen with the people you work with. You share the transformations, the breakthroughs, the moments when somebody finally gets it and their life changes. You show that your methods are actually creating real measurable outcomes. And if you're just getting started out and you don't have like a crazy Rolodex of client wins, that's okay too. What you're going to do is you're going to share what you've been building for yourself, right? It's the old saying in fitness, especially in coaching, which is your body is your billboard. Well, share how that billboard was made. Talk about your own transformation, right? Especially if you're on a weight loss journey and you've lost a ton of weight, like there's so many people that can relate to that. Share how you did that. Talk about the obstacles you overcame. That's proof. That's how you build that trust. The natural progression is pretty simple. They listen to your podcast. They get to know you. They start to like your advice. They see the results, and then they start to trust you. And at that point, you're not really waiting to sell them. They're waiting on you to offer something. They're not asking themselves, okay, what's this person going to sell me now? They're asking, how do I work with this person? Right? Or what's the next thing that I can, get from this person? Like I want to spend some money now. You're not being salesy because there's no need to be. They're already sold. They just need to know like how to take that next step. So this is where the whole framework clicks into place. You've spent weeks or months building a relationship through your podcast. You've let them into your world. You've shown them who you are, what you believe, and what you can do. When you finally mention that you have a coaching program or openings or whatever it may be, it doesn't feel like a sales pitch. It feels like an opportunity that they've been waiting for. Stop worrying about being salesy or stop worrying about like having to sell, and instead focus on being so real and helpful that people, they feel like they already know you before they ever book a call. Your next step is to start publishing episodes that let people into your world. And if you want to learn how to build this type of authenticity and authority, check out the Fitness Authority Academy, link in the description. Had to throw that in there. That's my way of trying to not be so salesy and pitchy, although I just pitched it, but you get the idea. The coaches who win are the ones that are willing to be imperfect in public and then profitable in private. So start opening up, share your highs, your lows, your wins and your losses, and just pursue it. Peace.